Hey guys, what is going on? Lee Sanders here, coming at you guys with a special Monday night edition of the RCWR show, covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Here we are one more time on a Monday night, and then we are making the transition back to our regular day and time of Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. That is effective less than 24 hours from now, or 23, 22 hours from now. Basically, after SmackDown goes off the air, it made a lot of sense to come on tonight because tonight was night one of the Superstar Shakeup. So I really do hope that you guys appreciate the fact that we're doing this for you all. And who knows, it really depends on the feedback. So you have to reach out to me all throughout social media. If you would like for me to do more Monday nights, you really need to sound off, okay? Because when it's all said and done, as we all know, SmackDown is going to be moving to Friday nights. And I know there's probably some of you guys that's thinking, "Nay, Lee, yeah, when SmackDown gets ready to move to Friday nights, what's going to happen with the show? Are you going to remain on Tuesdays?" I'm toying with the idea of first time in our show history moving the show from Tuesdays to Monday nights. So it really just depends on you all's feedback. So do sound off. Let me know what you guys think all throughout social media. But I do appreciate you guys that's checking out this episode, be it live or on demand. So look, night one of the Superstar Shakeup, a little bit lackluster in some areas, I would have to say. And I gotta be honest, I really could not wait for this episode to go off. I'm trying very hard here to look at the positive and try to shy away from the negativity that we saw tonight, but there really wasn't that much for me to really be excited about. And shout out to those of you who I did take the time to interact with. I see I'm not the only one that kind of felt a little bit, Put it to you this way, for me, I love this time of the year. And the main reason why I love this time of the year is because it's NBA playoff season. All right. So for me, I mean, we got a game going on right now on TNT. I can't wait to be done with this and hurry up, jump to the remainder of that game, check out the highlights on Inside. I love this time of the year, honestly. But yeah, let's talk about some of the stuff that we got tonight and try to make sense out of all this, right? I'll try to be a little bit more positive with some of the things that came about tonight rather than be about negative. And I agree with Mr. Mayhem in the chat. SmackDown moving to Friday nights. I mean, to a degree, you could say it's stupid. But just following up on that comment real quick, you know, I think now more than ever, we're getting to that point in our society where there are a decent amount of people that are saying, you know what, I'm just going to stay at home tonight. Get a call from your friend or whatever. Hey, what you doing tonight? It's Friday night. Want to go to the club? Nah, I'm just going to take it easy tonight. Usually nowadays, most people, they've worked that Monday through Friday. They are burned out. They have the weekend off. Hey, they get to kick back. They get to watch some stuff on the DVR. They get to catch up on some live programming. It's not as stupid as you think, because the real estate as it stands right now on Friday nights, you've got New Japan Pro Wrestling. You've got WOW, Women of Wrestling, which did phenomenally well for just a handful of episodes that it had this first season. It got renewed. It's coming back this fall for a total of 24 episodes. And I'm led to the impression it's still going to remain on Friday nights. You've got Impact Wrestling doing its thing on Friday nights. So for WWE to want to go on ahead and say, hey, you know what? Let me see what's going on here with this real estate known as Friday nights for wrestling and all. That seems like there's a little bit of a niche right here. There seems to be a little bit of a sweet spot with Friday nights. There's nothing wrong with that as long as the viewership and the ratings, it translates over well. I think it's going to be very interesting to see when this fall goes down, who is going to reign supreme, like who is going to be the top three, right? So it's not as stupid as you think. I think it really just depends on how one's schedule is looking. If you unfortunately work weekends, you can't really stay up Friday nights and check out all of that stuff in real time, then yeah, you're probably most likely gonna frown upon it a little bit, right? But let's talk about some of the stuff that we saw tonight. I'm gonna try to switch it up a little bit. I don't want to do a full-blown recap, but I do want to talk about key points and all that. All right, so as far as who is coming over from SmackDown to Raw, and the thing that you got to keep in mind as well, this wasn't just a SmackDown or Raw thing. This also had extended to 205 Live, and it extended to NXT as well. So nobody was safe from the Superstar Shakeup. So when it's all said and done, took down some notes here. It looks like we have Ricochet. And if you notice, with regards to Ricochet, Aleister Black, for the longest time, they were pushing the NXT logos next to their names whenever they were coming out. Well, Ricochet's went from NXT to Raw, and the commentators did reflect that in their commentating. They did announce, yes, he's now part of the Raw roster. Surprisingly, when Aleister Black, his tag partner, came out, he did not have that banner, so it made you wonder what exactly was going on with Aleister Black. Is he Raw as well, or is maybe he going to be drafted on over to SmackDown? I hope that he's drafted on over to SmackDown. I think he would do thoroughly well over on SmackDown, but then you can't help but wonder how well, because now you got Road Dogg. He's up out of there. We're going to talk about Road Dogg and all the recent firings, let goes, quitting, all of that. We'll talk more about that Tuesday night. We'll just stick to the talk of Raw for now. So you can't help but wonder if it's a foregone conclusion that Aleister Black is going to move on over to SmackDown. Also, moving to Raw is the team formerly known as the War Raiders, or some of you all like to say War Machine, but War Raiders. They are now known as the Viking Experience. You cannot make this shit up. They are now known as the Viking Experience. And this had a lot of people scratching their heads saying, what the blue hell is going on? This team is already fucked, and they're just making their debut. What the hell is going on here? And I see the level of frustration that people are talking about. I definitely was a bit on the fence when I heard this, because I'm just thinking from a marketing standpoint, and I want you guys to really feel me on this one for a second. Let's take a quick detour from who all got drafted, and let's talk about this new rebranding for the team once known as War Raiders. I think from a marketing perspective, it's bad. It's bad from this standpoint. This team has spent months down in NXT under the previous name, so they already built some type of a following, right? And you hear the old cliche, well, no one really watches NXT, so but you still have a decent amount of people. Be it a SmackDown, be it a Raw show, you still have a decent amount of people. Might not be overwhelming, but it's still a decent amount of people that come to these live events, and they know what's going on with their NXT guys, all right? So just imagine for a brief second that if you see this team for the very first time, this team known as the Viking Experience, and you go, hey, who the hell are these guys? I hope WWE thought this far. I hope they said, hey, you know, somebody's going to go on ahead. They're going to type in a Bing, a Google search. They're going to type in the WWE network if they have it, the Viking Experience. And is it ready to go? Are we going to have the information already there that's going to give them these two guys that we're promoting? But then most importantly, also from a marketing standpoint, you go and you watch the content and you hear War Raiders, and it's like, wait a minute, well, what happened with, why are they called the Viking Experience? I don't really get it. Nothing has changed. They didn't swap out one member for another. What's going on here? I think that this would have been a much easier and smoother transition if maybe 3 months before. Like, I think what first needs to be established, and kudos to whoever is able to interview the Viking Experience, because I would like to know, how soon did they know they were going to get the call up to the main roster? How long have things been set in motion now? If it's a thing where, we just heard about it within the past 2 weeks or something like that, then it's kind of, well, Well, that kind of sucks, right? But the point that I'm trying to bring up is the minute that it was established these guys were going to get the call up, I think there should have always been a plan in motion that at least 3 months before they got the call up, you changed their name. You changed their name to this team that they are now known as. That way you can already build on cachet with the NXT fan base, let everything culminate in WrestleMania weekend. You've now gotten their new name over, and then if you were going to call them up on the main roster like you did tonight, okay, well, the new name has already been put out there. Everybody now knows that they're going by this name now. To just pull a 180 like that, ridiculous, especially when you just saw them from the great NXT TakeOver event on WrestleMania weekend, and you heard them called the War Raiders. Like, where's the common sense that would say, hey, if we're going to call these guys up and we're going to give them a different name, don't you think it makes all the sense in the world that, boom, as soon as humanly possible, we start calling them by this new name so that we can already start building the base or rebuilding the base? They already have cachet. Now it just feels like a completely random different team out there, even though for those of us that fortunately have watched our NXT product, we know who these guys are. It's just mind-blowing. Now, I got to give credit to a really cool article that had came out, which brings up a lot of very valid points, and I would definitely encourage you guys to go out of your way and read this article, right? It's by Sportskeeda. I love Sportskeeda. From time to time, they post really good articles. And shout out to Raju Daskapuda. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. You know what? I think I'm butchering the hell out of that last name. Let's just call him Raju. Raju. R-I-J-U. Raju had wrote up this article over at Sportskeeda, and I want to share this link with you guys here in the YouTube chat, and I'll also share this, guys, with you all. Ah, damn it. The link is so long, it's not even funny. I can't post it in YouTube. I can only post it in Discord. So hang on here. Discord, there's the link I'm talking about. Let me give that to you guys. And then for you guys in YouTube, let me actually go to tinyURL real quick, because I want you guys to read along with this. It's very brief as I go over this article, because this cat brings up some very valid points about why probably the Viking experience are now called this name as opposed to War Raiders. Okay, so we shrunk that link. Here you guys are. Here's the link for you guys. Posted here in 3, 2, and 1. Let's see here. Boom. There you go. What do you mean, era? There shouldn't be an era. Try that one more time. Boom. That's weird, guys. It's not letting me post the link in the chat. Well, it should be pretty easy for you to find. If you do a Bing or Google search, type in 5 reasons why the War Raiders were renamed the Viking Experience. And like I said, it's a Sportskeeda article. You should easily be able to come across it without any problems whatsoever. So one of the first reasons that they mention this, and again, you kind of have to look at this as an opinion piece, but when you think about where the current WWE product is and everything, a lot of these points are very valid. The word war is not really sponsor friendly. WWE is not just the world's largest wrestling promotion anymore. It is a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company where they have to cater to the taste of their global audience. And to have the word war in the name at such politically insensitive times could invite massive backlash. It's a very good point. Back when the War Raiders were on NXT, the audience only watched them on the WWE network and therefore were not bound to as many restrictions as they are right now. During a live name down and make it more palatable to a worldwide audience. The Viking Experience is a much safer name, even if it is not cool, a cool name. Okay, so I hear that point that's being brought up, but I still feel the way that I feel from everything that I just laid out to you just now. And furthermore, here's the other problem that I have with them now being called the Viking Experience. You've hindered them tremendously. Just as I was talking to a few people online about this earlier tonight during Raw, I took it easy on Twitter. I kind of switched it up a little bit, and I just stuck to interacting private messages and in some of my favorite forums and all that. But here's the thing. You're limiting them when you give them that name, right? Think about it for a second, right? Let's kind of educate you guys that don't know a thing or two about branding, marketing, and everything like that. All right, it's no different than, let's say you're interested in having your own podcast. And let's say that one of the main things you want to talk about on your podcast is wrestling. And like you're just gung-ho about wrestling. So you call your podcast Blood and Guts Podcast, right? The Blood and Guts Wrestling Podcast, right? Okay, so all right, that's great that you've branded yourself. So now we know the type of audience that you're trying to bring in and everything. That's great. But let me ask you something. What happens if you get to a point where you just say, it could be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or what have you? What happens if you say, well, man, wrestling just as a whole is starting to become pretty damn boring. I need some other stuff to talk about. Well, damn. Game of Thrones just came back. I love Game of Thrones. That's awesome. Hey, I'm also into basketball. Oh, hey, I'm also into bowling. Well, it's kind of hard to talk about those other topics on a show that's already been branded as the Blood and Guts Wrestling Podcast. So when you look at a team like the Viking Experience, where's the case for them to evolve eventually, where you just have them call the War Raiders, or you have them just call the Raiders or whatever? By limiting them to the Viking Experience, okay, medieval times, all right, cut your head off, jousting, okay. Well, what if they eventually decide, hey, we want a little bit of a refresher? We want to kind of get away from this whole Viking thing. It's kind of hard to do that. So now you put yourself in a position where you got to rename, rebrand, remarket them all over again. So it's a little bit of a silly move when it's all said and done on WWE's part. So that's the first point that Raju had brought up. Let's look at the second point that he brings up here. And it's just quick bullet points that Raju is bringing up. The second point that he brings up, a watered down for the main roster audience. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. He says, I mean, just look at a lot of the classic WWE gimmicks throughout the ages, ladies and gentlemen. You have tag teams like the Rockers, the Headbangers, and characters like Brutus the Barber Beefcake. It is clear that through their nomenclature, what the hell is that word? I'm gonna skip right over that. They've always been catering to the lowest common denominator. While the connection between the Raiders bit and Viking culture could have been made by an NXT audience, I think the main roster audience needs everything spelled out for them, or at least this is what Vince McMahon believes. This is the reason why a lot of NXT superstars have their main roster name shortened when they come to the main roster. Perhaps this is why Vince McMahon believed that the Viking Experience is a name that will strike a chord with members of the WWE universe. Do you all agree with those sentiments? I don't really think. Sometimes you don't need stuff as painted out as clear as day. Do you have to be that specific? People are pretty smart. I think sometimes you, the WWE fans, are really taken for granted as far as how fast you all are able to catch on to certain things. Third point that's brought up, individual names changed as per the theme. In case you guys maybe had missed that as well. The Viking Experience, they are now known as Ivar and Eric. So the NXT Tag Team Champions, the War Raiders, made an instant impact when they made their Monday night debut, as you all recall this week. Like it or not, the names RAW and Hansen do not exactly spell out Viking warrior. Their names were changed and amended so as to fit a Viking theme better. yeah. So now their names have changed as well. So this all goes back to the whole rebranding, remarketing, the whole repackaging. This just, no matter how you spell it, as soon as you started thinking this, you should have had something in motion weeks ago to a couple of months ago. It's just bad on so many levels. It really is. Let's see the fourth point that Raju makes up here. And his fourth point, a possible alliance with Sarah Logan down the line. Yeah, very well possible. Very well possible. Makes a lot of sense. I could see that happening, as Raymond Rowe of the War Raiders, he is in real life married to Sarah Logan. They had a Viking wedding and everything. So if maybe you wanted to expand upon that a little bit more, maybe add a third member to the stable and everything, yeah, there's definitely room to eventually maybe slide her in there and everything. Nothing wrong with that. And the last point that Raju makes up, far too close to their independent name. That's the number one reason that he put that in there. Remember, WWE like it when their superstars make a fresh start once they come on board and join the WWE system. More often than not, a lot of independent stars have to leave their former gimmicks behind. Finn Balor is a good example of that. He is not Prince Devitt anymore, as you all know. The War Raiders, aka the Viking Experience, was formerly known as War Machine. They were a highly decorated tag team in the independent circuit and even won gold in other notable promotions like Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, yeah, now you're stuck with the Viking Experience. Yeah, just, it is what it is. We got to deal with it, folks. We got to deal with it. I just hope that when it's all said and done, despite the fact that their stable name has changed, tag team name has changed, their first names have changed, it's like a clean freaking slate, basically. I hope that despite all of that, where it counts the most is what they're able to go out there and do in the ring. Hopefully, you know, we'll see. I like what had came about with them so far tonight. That was rather decent. Steven, with regards to Nia Jax, yes, I am aware. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday night. I just want to keep it simplistic tonight and only want to talk about the Raw Superstar Shakeup. So, just to recap, Ricochet, now part of the Raw roster. The Viking Experience, formerly known as War Machine, formerly known as the War Raiders, they are now part of the Raw roster. From 205 Live, Cedric Alexander is now going to be part of the Raw roster. Andrade Cien Almas, he is now part of the Raw roster. Usos moved from SmackDown to the Raw roster. Also, Naomi moves to Raw as well. Who else we have now? I believe Lacey Evans. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is Lacey Evans now a part of the Raw roster? I might have missed something there with regards to her. I saw the match that she had with Natty, by the way. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, we have Eric Young from Sanity. Somehow Eric Young just slid on in there like you wake up one day and bam, there's a pimple on your goddamn face. Just right there, clear as day. It's on your goddamn forehead. EY just slid on in there because it was hilarious. I'm going back and forth, and when I'm changing the channels from Raw to the NBA action, I'm keeping in mind, okay, Raw, commercial break, all right, NBA action. And when it's time for me to click back to Raw, I see the graphic of everybody that's been drafted to Raw so far, and EY is just there. EY just magically freaking pops up in there. Cody, shout out to you. Yes, Lacey is officially now part of the Raw roster. Thank you for that. Heads up, Cody. So you see the banner and you're like, okay, yep. Wait a minute. What the hell is EY doing there? EY just slid on in there. Like, the best analogy I had used when I was interacting with some folks, I said, you know, it's kind of like you're at a party and you know who all was invited, and somehow EY just magically pops up in that motherfucker, and you're like, who the hell are you? And he's like, oh, hey, great party. Hey, Tostitos, what's going on? It's like, who are you? How the hell did you get here? Eli just slid on in there like that. That was funny. And the last guy to be drafted over to Raw could be a major blow for your SmackDown fans. We'll have to wait and see how things kind of balance itself out. But AJ Styles is now part of the Raw roster. Look, I agree with what some people are saying about, hey, with regards to AJ Styles, it was time. He needed to go on over to Raw. He's pretty much, I get it, for many of you all, he's pretty much done absolutely any and everything that's humanly possible. And I don't want people that are mad now, potentially, that because AJ is now over on Raw. I really want you all to just kind of take a step back. Look at everything that he had did for SmackDown. He had SmackDown on his back for well over a year as the SmackDown champion, right? He did more than enough. I mean, he carried that load long enough for Daniel Bryan to finally get the green light. He comes back into play, and just look at the domino effect that would eventually happen just over on the SmackDown side of things, as now, look, we've got Kofi Kingston as the SmackDown champion and everything. So when I look at everything that's playing about right now, AJ Styles has done absolutely all he needed to do on the SmackDown side of things. For him to continue to remain on SmackDown, it just would have been recycling just all over again, and that just would not have been fair to AJ Styles. So this is a really good refresher for him to see him go on over to Monday Night Raw. But as I quickly pointed out to some of you guys, you gotta somehow balance this out when it's all said and done. We just told you everybody that is now part of Raw from next week going forward. So you gotta balance this out, and you balance it out by either having maybe Braun Strowman go on over to SmackDown, or maybe Roman Reigns heading on over to SmackDown. Those are the two biggest names that jump out to me off the break. Another way that you could maybe counter this as well, you could go the Brock Lesnar route. You got reports out there that there's already some type of a deal in place that's going to see him help out SmackDown. Well, you could still, and I know some people are going to look at some of the talents like a Nia Jax, like a Ronda Rousey, and you say, oh, well, this person is injured right now. You got to remember, when it comes to these superstar shakeups, these drafts, everybody is up for grabs. So you can still balance everything out by basically saying tomorrow night on SmackDown, Lesnar to SmackDown, and or Ronda Rousey to SmackDown, right? So it should be interesting to see how things play about, but you still got to balance out that blow of AJ Styles hitting on over to Raw. You got to balance it out, right? So, you know, now I'm really curious, well, what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan now? Is Daniel Bryan safe, or is Daniel Bryan going to continue to remain on SmackDown? We will know in just a little bit. But recapping one more time for you guys who now are going to be part of the Raw roster as a result of night one, the Superstar Shakeup. We got Ricochet. We have the Viking Experience, formerly known as War Machine, formerly known as War Raiders. Cedric Alexander from 205 Live. Andrade Cien Almas. It looks as though Zelina Vega is part of that package as well, as she was out there with him and everything. So I'm going to kind of have a question mark around her until we go into SmackDown. We'll kind of wait and see, but it's safe to say she's now part of Raw as well. Rey Mysterio, I almost forgot. Rey Mysterio, can't believe I almost forgot about him. He is now part of the Raw roster. Usos, part of Raw. Naomi, part of Raw. Eric Young, Lacey Evans, and AJ Styles. All right. So some of the action that we had got tonight, honestly, we were just kind of teasing it a few seconds ago. Lacey Evans, I gotta say, man, I'm very confused at Lacey Evans. And I want to explain to you the reason why I'm a little bit confused about Lacey Evans. But first, I want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking out this special Monday night edition of the RCWR show. I do hope you've been enjoying this special episode so far. If you have been, as this is a YouTube exclusive, make sure you smash that like button, and if you haven't done so already, do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the other great content that comes your way on a weekly basis. Some quick programming notes: I will be live with you guys Tuesday night covering SmackDown Fallout. So that will be live as soon as it goes off the air. We'll be live on our usual platforms. That also includes our show app, available for free in the Google Play Store. Just use the keywords, the RCWR show. Also live via Spreaker and the Spreaker app. We'll also be streaming live in Discord. We'll be live all over the place, even on YouTube, all right? And coming up next week, I'm very excited for next week. The RCWR show is going to be hitting the road once again. Oh, I cannot wait. Going to be going back to the old stomping grounds in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. Not really that far away from me. It's pretty much a 25-minute ride. But I'll be heading out there next week, the 26th through the 28th. It will be my third year covering AwesomeCon as part of the press media. There is a lot of fun, cool stuff that is already planned out. I've barely looked at the itinerary, but I know one of the things that's going to be having a lot of people talk is the 80-year celebration of Batman. And there is a Batman museum that they're going to be showcasing. The memorabilia that they have there, it kicks major ass. Legit outfits worn by the late Heath Ledger, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It is awesome. I've only seen a little bit of snippets, and I can't wait to cover that for you guys. But there's going to be a lot of great fun that's going to be happening. Myself and the beautiful and the lovely Tammy will be there. If you guys are going to be coming out there, make sure you be on the lookout for us. And if you see us, come up to us, say hello. We'll definitely shake your hand, talk to you a little bit, take a couple of pictures, pick your brain on some of the stuff. But because by then, Avengers Endgame will have already came out. So there's a lot. I'm looking forward to it. I'm telling you, this year, if you ask me what's the #1 thing I'm looking forward to the most with this year's AwesomeCon, I'm looking forward to interacting more with the people. Because now that I've found my groove and really getting comfortable being around, because that's large environments of people. Now that I'm comfortable, it's now a case of just, okay, what are we going to randomly talk to people about? And Walking Dead just wrapped up. Endgame is going to already be out. Game of Thrones is it's already in effect, but by that point, there's going to be a nice chunk size of episodes that people will be able to say, okay, wow, how about Game of Thrones so far, blah, blah, blah. Also be able to pick people's brains on the NBA playoffs. We're still going to be kind of high off of the WrestleMania buzz, the New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, G1 Supercard, a whole lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to coming back to the nation's capital and interacting with you guys. Loving it. Can't wait. Gonna be a lot of good stuff that we're gonna be recording. All right, so key points from Raw tonight. Teasing Lacey Evans. Okay, look, Lacey Evans. First of all, let me go in with a compliment, and then I'm gonna backtrack from there, because there's some constructive criticism with the talk of Lacey Evans. First of all, I love her appearance. I've always loved her appearance. She is a tall, fine drink of water. Let me tell you. She is like, I'm telling you, if you were to pair her up side by side with Charlotte, just the back of their heads, you wouldn't know who's who. The way they're built, everything. You just would not know who is who. So, like, with regards to Lacey Evans, and the other thing that I like about Lacey Evans, no disrespect to Charlotte, but Lacey Evans has a more natural appearance to her. We remember not that long ago when Charlotte was first starting up on NXT, she had oh, hey, she's easy on the eyes. Not bad. And, you know, if you were one of those guys, I like ass, I like boobies, yum, 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 right? Then, yeah, Charlotte probably was not for you. But with all the work that she's done to her bodies over the years, some people would make the argument she is a bit more enhanced than in the previous years. She looks a little bit like a Barbie doll, so to speak, right? Whereas Lacey Evans looks more organic, looks more natural, doesn't really look like she's gone under the knife, and if she has, we don't really know anything about it, right? But Lacey Evans is very, very pleasing on the eye. Let me just say that. She really is. Her match with Natty, honestly, if you're really going to have this woman go out there after talking the hot game that she had talked to Becky Lynch, all right, well, let's see what you can do. All right, put her out there against a in-ring veteran like Natty. I thought she held her own pretty good. Love that back moonsault that she did from the top ropes. That was a sweet spot. Loved all of that. I must say, I'm impressed. She's got one mean-ass right hand. I mean, that stiff shot that she took to Becky last week, man, that joint look, ooh. She really put that in. That was a nice, good, stiff shot. Looked legitimately like she hit Becky for real. I ate all of that up. Where I have a little bit of, okay, walk me back a little bit. What's going on here? I need for the writers and I need for Lacey to sit down and really nail down what her character is all about. Because when I'm first introduced to this character from the Mae Young Classic, that's how far back I go back to Lacey Evans. I go back to the Mae Young Classic, and then it pretty much just bounces from there. So I already have somewhat of a history seeing this character, but it's gotten lost in translation since coming up to the main roster. So originally, we're led to the impression that Lacey Evans was this Peggy Carter, Captain America type of individual. I am woman, hear me war. I am a strong, independent, fierce woman. I am a throwback woman. I am not like these skanks that you see here running around and they've got their ass all out there and they're using their sex appeal and all this other crap to help elevate themselves. No. I'm a real nice, cool throwback. So when I'm seeing a person like Lacey Evans, I'm going, okay, so we're going to rewind it back to the days of the fabulous Moolah. We're going to take it back to the days of one of my all-time favorites, Mildred Burke. We're going that far back with Lacey Evans. Okay, if that's how we're going to do it, I'm down. I just need to know how exactly we're doing it, right? So I'm already thinking, okay, the Revival throwback tag team, not exactly going over that well. Lacey Evans, okay, she's got beauty on her side. She's got grace. Okay, maybe it might work. But then it morphs into this Southern Belle. Hey, y'all, welcome to Old Country Buffet. Won't y'all like some homemade sweet pink lemonade? You know, it's going in that direction. And you're kind of... wait. Southern Belle, Southern... Okay, so what? You're a Southern Belle from the 1930s, 40s, 50s? What exactly is going on here? I'm a little bit confused. You're kind of confusing me. What's happening here? You're spending all of your time at the thrift store and you're finding all of these nifty throwback threads and all that. Like, what's going on, right? So she goes from the whole Peggy Carter, Mildred Burke, all of those analogies that I just used, and now she is this Southern Belle. Then I factor in her theme song, Act Like a Lady, Act Like a Lady. Okay, so, well, a lady doesn't just walk up to another lady and just, woo-how, got you all in check and just cold clocks the hell out of another bitch, right? A lady doesn't do that, okay? That's not ladylike, right? Act like a lady, act like a lady. Well, a lady doesn't come out tonight and basically say in her promo, hey, I use what I have, I use my sex appeal to get what I want, and as a result of using my appeal, hey, Becky Lynch, you and me are going to have a title match. Well, wait a minute now, that's not exactly ladylike. So I'm very confused is the point that I'm getting at as to what exactly is going on with this character, because this character is going in so many goddamn different directions, it's not funny. Understand something for you hardcore Lacey Evans fans. I don't want you guys, Lee, you're taking a shit on one of my... I'm not taking a shit on one of your favorites. Notice, I didn't say anything about what she did in the ring. I didn't say anything about that. I just said the way that she's booked right now. Her and WWE, mainly the writers, they need to sit down and they need to, okay, this is what you're about. the theme, I miss those days in the WWE when the theme matched up exactly to the character that you saw before your eyes. And it seems like everything that's going on with Lacey Evans right now, it's off the rails, right? So they need to figure out exactly what type of character she needs to be and pretty much go from there. If she's going to be a Southern Belle that's going to come out there and like the promo that she cut on Becky Lynch tonight, you know, hey, you call yourself the man, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm going to teach you some, you know, I'm going to teach you what it's like to be a lady. I'm going to teach you some proper manners or whatever. Okay, you know, if you're going to come at me like that, I'm fine with the whole throwback Southern Belle, beat the crap out of you. I'm fine with that. But when we start doing this whole, I'm using my sex appeal, I'm using this, I'm using that, then it's kind of like, well, that defeats the whole purpose of what overall this character is about. It doesn't match up to the theme song, right? Something's off when it's all said and done. My challenge to those of you that still are not buying into what I'm saying, just go back. Just play the weeks upon weeks upon weeks. Let me put it to you this way. WWE did more good for her when she was coming out, doing the wave, walking up and down the ramp. They did more good for her when she was doing that than what they've been doing with her now that she's talking and she's pretty much let her presence be known. She's coming after Becky Lynch for one of those titles. Now, that brings me to another point. I know that we have discussion that's out there about some people saying, hey, Lacey Evans, how the fuck does she just get to shoot across everybody else and now she's facing Becky Lynch? Like, what the fuck? Okay, let's break that down real quick for you all. Who is Becky Lynch supposed to face? Naomi? Wet fart. Zelina Vega? No. Ronda Rousey's injured. Nia Jax is injured. So we can forget about all of them girls. Asuka? WWE, they've hurt Asuka so much. It's not even funny. It's ridiculous. Right? So, I love Asuka. I love Asuka. I remember her work from New Japan and the other promotions before she came to WWE. I know what Homegirl is capable of. They fucked her up real bad. So, Asuka, we can pretty much forget about it. Who else you want to throw at me? You want to throw at me Lana? That's not happening. Who else you want to throw at me? Who else should be taking on Becky Lynch right now for the title? What, you want to throw Charlotte Flair out there? You could, okay, yeah. Okay, I can give you Charlotte Flair. I can definitely give you Charlotte Flair. What about after Charlotte? Because 8 out of 10, Becky is going to go past Charlotte. So what happens after that? Where do you go afterwards? Come on, give me another name. What other name do you got? What, are you going to say, who's the girl from Sanity? Who's the girl from Sanity? Give me the name. Give me the name. Nikki Cross. Are you going to say Nikki Cross? Man, when Nikki Cross was finally starting to build some type of a momentum base with the fans, all of a sudden she disappears to the point we haven't even seen her involved in possibly being part of this whole superstar shakeup and all that. And isn't that funny? Because when it's all said and done, you go back to that period where we had EC3. Who else was it? It was EC3. It was Nikki Cross, and there was like some other cats, and they were part of this whole, they're coming. You know, they're coming. Heavy Machinery. Oh, they're coming. And they were sharing them on both brands. Remember that? We had the vignettes and all that. And then we finally see Nikki. Oh, Nikki actually, okay, she's actually being received quite well. Hey, this is good. And then all of a sudden, we don't see her anymore. Now, maybe she's taking care of some personal matters. I don't know. That's for WWE to really tell us. But just when it looked as though, okay, Nikki Cross, she's established. She's heading over to, now it's, well, we don't even know what's going on, right? So what, you want to throw Nikki Cross at me? Well, we haven't even really established Nikki Cross. Gino! What's up, Gino? We haven't even really established Nikki Cross. So, we're back to the drawing board. So, who else is left? Who is viable right now on the roster that you could have go up against Becky Lynch while at the same time establishing them? I have no problem with what WWE is trying to do. I commend them. And this goes to the point. You can't please everybody because constantly you're always going to have people. Think about it. I want new stars. I'm tired of seeing the same recycled blah, blah, blah crap. Oh, yeah, that's true. We have been. I mean, think about it. Look up the pro wrestling match listings and you can see the same goddamn bullshit. Like it's not even funny. Shield versus Wyatt family. You know, this member of the Wyatt family versus this person of the Shield versus, it's like flip flop, flippity flop, flip 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 flop 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 flop. Okay? So you got fans that are saying, I want new stars. Okay, well, we're going to give you new stars. Oh, man, well, why are we hot-shotting? Well, who else are we supposed to push? You tell us, who else are we supposed to push right now? Given everything that you have on the roster right now. As far as, okay, who are we going to serve to Becky Lynch? Just off the break. Something refreshing, something new, somebody that we can try to do our best to establish because they look like they're going to be a future champion for years to come. They could use the rub off. Who could we try and establish? And all the people that I just named, they've already had their fun in the sun. I have no problem with WWE trying something new, trying something different, which the end result at the end of the day, hey, look, we were able to establish this new star. Now, look, Lacey Evans is not getting any one of those titles. Let's squash that right now. She's not getting either one of those. But what she is going to get is a nice, good experience with Becky Lynch in the ring. Everything that's happening with her right now, everything is just going to culminate in her coming away from Becky Lynch, smelling even better, and really being established as a antagonist for a future up-and-coming babyface and all that. I have no problem with the way they're doing it right now. Shayna Baszler? Yes, Steven. Shayna Baszler? That would be great, but guess what? The way the cards are looking right now, it's safe to say, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, it's safe to say that with regards to Shayna Baszler, when Shayna Baszler does come up on the main roster, I think it's going to be that whole 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. I think that's the way it's going to be going down, quite honestly. Speaking of which, I like how Sasha Banks got the one-up over everybody. You notice we didn't talk about that. You ain't seen me put out anything on social media or nothing like that. Everybody was blowing a fucking gasket. Oh, Sasha Banks! Sasha Banks! Oh. It's like, it would be so easy for me to just fire up a webcam. Sasha Banks quit the WWE! Subscribe! Giving you guys the wrong information. You know, I learned a long time ago, being in this type of field, no, I'm not buying it. No, I'm not going to just instantly react. I want to kick back. I want to wait until more information comes out. And then I want to just, okay, here's what's going on. Take it at face value. Present it to you to look at a couple of ways. I don't want to just be coming on here. I don't want to be and I respect some of the people that want to do that. They want to be first. They want to come on wherever and they want to put the news on out there. I don't want to be like that. I would rather have all the information right. And even if it's a case where, okay, well, some days have passed and this is the information that I have in front of me, I would rather not even say, well, this is the gospel. I would rather just go, okay, so here's a story that broke out. Here's a few ways you should look at it. How you walk away from it after I tell it to you, that's at your own accord. But I see Sasha Banks got a huge one-up over everybody this past week. Everybody. Go back. Check out my Facebook timeline. Check out my Twitter. I said, now even on the YouTube, I said jack shit. I said jack shit. You get older and you've been podcasting as long as I've been podcasting, you just get to that point where you say, you know what? No, I want to be 100% bulletproof with my shit. I don't want to have to come on here every single time. Well, the story was wrong. I apologize, folks. Well, we fucked up, blah, 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 whatever. EC3 had faced a mystery opponent. Turns out it was Braun Strowman. Dixie Carter understands EC3 very well, but apparently WWE does not understand EC3 at all. I feel for this guy. I really, really do. When I first heard that EC3 was coming on back to the WWE, I couldn't help but say, you know what? Good for him, because when he was Derek Bateman, the future, it was there for him. The writing was on the wall. This was definitely a man you needed to be paying attention to. I said early on, you know what? Cut his hair. Yeah, you could do something with him, because his hair was real poofy and curly, and it was just all over the place, and I didn't like that. But he had a great physique even back then, and I said, nah, you know what? Have him cut his hair. He could do great things. Things didn't work out for whatever respected reason. He goes over to Impact Wrestling. Man, Impact Wrestling, they did a really great job with him. They did. I think where things started to kind of going down south with EC3, and I've lost track of how many times Impact has moved from networks, but y'all remember when he was undefeated, and then it ended up with him becoming champion, and then I think he finally lost the title to Matt Hardy. I think it was Big Money Matt. I think that was the gimmick that Matt Hardy was pushing. It's kind of like a lightweight version without exactly calling it Big Money Matt, but basically he was doing the gimmick that he was doing when he was working with ROH. That's pretty much the variation Hardy he brought into Impact Wrestling. And then I remember there was some weird bullshit that went down where Impact, whatever network they were on, they ended their run on that network, and you had this controversy up in the air as far as, well, what was going to happen with the Impact Championship, because EC3 was threatening legal ramifications or some shit like that. I felt that from the moment they took away his undefeated streak and they had him drop the title to Hardy, for me, that's where things finally started to just, well, what the hell are you doing? You've spent all this time building up EC3 undefeated. You spent all this time getting him to this point where he's the champion. You're getting ready to move to another network. Why not go on ahead and let him continue to hold on to that title, at least till you move to the new network, and then have him drop it to Hardy? I get it if your whole mentality is, well, Hardy, that's a household name. Many people know that name, that brand, it sells. I respect that. But don't you think it makes a lot more sense to do that once you move to the new network, not while you're still on some old network that's pretty much told you, don't come around here no more, right? That doesn't make any sense. So for me, the writing was on the wall after that. Matter of time before EC3 is done with Impact. And I tell you, it's rocky right now what's going on with him in the WWE. I don't like it from the theme, the whole, I am top 1%, right? Yeah, he's the top 1% that's soon going to be on the unemployment line the way it's looking. It's a great talent. It's a disservice to him how they're using him. Now look, wishful thinking, going to tomorrow night. I hope that EC3 gets drafted to SmackDown. I think he would thrive tremendously on SmackDown. You want to talk about new stars, putting new spotlight on cats? I think he would benefit tremendously. That's the thing that I notice. A lot of people always say, oh, when is this person going to get the call up to the main roster? And that's not the questions that you all should be asking yourselves. The real questions you all should be asking yourselves with some of your favorite WWE stars is, which show would they benefit from the most? And I was saying it as clear as day months back when they were doing the EC3 vignettes. Put him on SmackDown. And I had people that ask, no, he needs to be on Raw. No, you put him on SmackDown because he's going to get lost in the shuffle. They're not going to know what the fuck to do with him. At least on SmackDown, he has a shot. No, he deserves to be on Raw. He's worked so hard for it. All right, what do I know? Okay. Now you see what you get, right? So it just goes to show you, just because, oh, I want to see my favorite superstar on the main, it doesn't always mean that just because your favorite superstar is on the main roster that they're going to be utilized just right. So going forward, to you younger folks out there, the real question y'all need to be asking yourselves is, hey, where can my favorite wrestler benefit from the most brand-wise? So I'm hoping EC3 gets drafted on over to SmackDown. That would be great. I've always, I don't care what anybody says, I've always had appreciation for Bobby Roode. I think just being associated with Chad Gable has been like fucking fungus for Bobby Roode. I would love to see Bobby Roode get back to basics, be somewhat equivalent to the man he used to be when he was coming up in NXT. What happened to that Bobby Roode? What happened to that Bobby Roode that was getting out of limousines, that was basically a fake me out Ric Flair, freaking Nick Bockwinkel or whatever? What happened to that Bobby Roode? This Bobby Roode that I'm seeing right now, he's become so goddamn, yeah, whatever I got to do to get the paycheck, it's all good, right? I mean, it's just phoning it in, basically. Not feeling that whatsoever. Awkward moment of the night, I got to give it up to Becky Lynch. Natty. I cringed at that promo. I love you Becky Lynch fans, I do. I love me some Becky Lynch, I do. But this whole, the man, you know, it just, I'm not going to tread lightly. I'm going to call it for what it is, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. It ain't going over well with me. And tonight's promo, I don't care what you say to me, that promo cringed on so many levels. I just face-palmed looking at this. Man, that was brutal. That was brutal. And see, you would like to believe that when you have a person out there like Natty, oh, you can't go wrong with Natty, the in-ring veteran. Okay, you got to put something over or whatever. Okay, yeah, Natty can do just enough. Yeah, she'll be able to, okay, no problem. But Natty and Becky, it just, and maybe it's because, maybe what we were really picking up was that there was no chemistry between the two of them. Maybe you could say in retrospect it kind of felt like a feeling out process or whatever. But, and you saw the Montreal reaction too, to Becky Lynch. It was, you know, it was okay, it's pleasant. Yeah, we tolerate you. Yeah, we're okay with you. Yeah, you're all right. You're okay, but move it along now, right? That's literally, go back and play it. That's literally how the Montreal crowd was doing Becky Lynch, okay? I understand people doing the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin comparisons, and, you know, I think that's cute. Really, I do. I think that's cute. And I'm not saying cute from the whole, oh, you're being sexist, or no. You're talking to somebody that lived through the Stone Cold Steve Austin era and all that other shit. And let me tell you something. If we are even going to remotely pretend that Becky Lynch is the female Stone Cold Steve Austin, then what I need to start seeing Becky Lynch do as the double champion, Becky 2 times, what I need to start seeing her do is come out there, don't talk as if you think you're a champion. Come out there, seize, smash, grab, take that son of a bitch. I need you to go out there and act like a fucking champion. I need you to go out there and act like Roman Reigns. I need you to go out there and act like it's your fucking yard, right? I need to hear and see more conviction from Becky Lynch. All these little spots that they got down where she's getting beat up and all, yeah, you know, that's all nice and dandy. It really is. But see, here's the other thing where I have an issue with how Becky Lynch is getting booked right now. Understand, I'm not taking a massive shit on Becky Lynch. When it's all said and done, it's about the booking. It's all about the booking on how they're doing Becky Lynch. Riddle me this. If we're going to do the Stone Cold Steve Austin comparisons, when somebody beat the shit out of Stone Cold Steve Austin, they did a surprise attack on Steve Austin. What did Steve Austin do? Tell me, somebody in the chat, tell me, what did Steve Austin do if somebody jumped him from behind or whatever, they did a surprise attack or whatever? What did he usually do? If your answer was Steve Austin would go on a personal manhunt, find that son of a bitch, and just light his ass up, then you answered that correctly, right? So no freaking way should we had seen Becky Lynch out there tonight having as long of a length of a conversation as she was having with Natty. The way that should have went down once Natty came into the ring and everything. Hey, Natty, I get it. I know why you're out here. You're a veteran wrestler. I get it. You're out here. You want a piece of the man. Well, the man wants a piece of you, baby. Haha. But I got some unfinished business with that bitch, Lacey Evans. Lacey, if you're out here, bring your little cute ass on out here. I need to see Becky Lynch really get that fucking machismo. I need to see her get the mannerisms out, right? You're going to be the man, live up to it. And it's not her fault. It's the booking. Exactly, Brandon. Exactly. Steve Austin would have taken them to Broken Skull, the Broken Skull Challenge. Right. Yes. So I need to see Becky Lynch go more in that direction. And look, at the end of the day, Becky Lynch is only taking direction from, okay, what's the script? All right, this is what I'm doing. Okay, all right, yeah, no problem. Okay, cool, right? But if the writers are not, okay, you know what, we're reading this back. This really doesn't, you know, actually, no, instead, nah, let's scratch that. You should, you know, if they aren't sitting down and think about that, you got like 40 fucking writers, and this was the best that they could come up with tonight and executing the man, Becky Lynch. Now, look, I'm not saying that there's no hope. They can still turn this ship around while it's very early. But the fact that more and more and more, peep this out, going forward on social media, online forums and all that, peep this out now that I'm putting this out there in the open. Watch how many people, and it's been growing these past couple of weeks, how many people have been taking more and more shits on Becky Lynch as champion for some of the reasons that I just brought up. Just keep your eyes peeled. Open your ears and your eyes and take a step back and really look at things from a fresh perspective, and you'll see what we're all talking about. There's still time for them to turn this ship around. There really, really is, but I cringed at that. That definitely rubbed me the wrong way. We were teasing Sasha Banks earlier. Sasha Banks nowhere to be seen on Raw tonight. She did put out a tweet though. Marks, hashtag Raw, SmackDown, all that good stuff. We saw Bayley. She ended up teaming up with Naomi. They beat the Iconics. That was another issue that I had tonight. Stupid Booking 101. Say it with me, Stupid Booking 101. So let me see if I got this straight. So the Iconics, and I don't need to be long-winded with this. So the Iconics, they are your new women's tag champions. Yet, we see them on SmackDown last week. Hey, we're going to give some tag team an opportunity to face us. Hey, this team is 100 and they're undefeated. Oh man, it's a great honor to take these guys on. Hey. Bullshit, whatever, we get it, right? This is what the Iconics are doing. They're trying to do their best to steer clear of real competition. Okay, I get that. But how do you explain what happened tonight? Now, on the one hand, you can say the Iconics just happen to be, right, because it's the Superstar Shakeup. Okay, that explains why they're at Raw. They come across Bayley. She ain't going to be able to find nobody. Okay, all right, I get that. But the minute that you see it's Naomi, okay, well, these two girls in the Iconics, they've had past experience with Naomi. They know what she's about and everything. Okay, don't you think at this point, just to preserve you being tag team champions and all that, don't you think it kind of makes a little bit of sense to, at one point, you know what, these girls ain't even worth our time. Let's just get out of here. Settle for a count out. I'm sorry, but if I'm booking this, I'm protecting the Iconics. I'm having them settle on a count out. They don't want none of Bayley, Naomi. Even after Naomi comes out, you go into the in-ring action. First couple of minutes, Iconics get their ass owned. Okay, we're done. Bye. They take their tag belts. They roll out. You protect them. We just saw them last week. The writing's on the wall. Okay, they're going to be the chicken shit champions. And I just need more consistency from WWE, is the point that I'm getting to. I need more consistency. If they're going to be chicken shit champions and they are not going to face real challengers, they're going to keep facing jobbers or created wrestlers and all that other shit, then keep that going until some type of an authority figure finally says, hey, been noticing you've been on a little bit of a hot streak. How about we have you face a real tag team? You know, and speaking of consistency, if ever there would have been a great time to bring out Paige, you just had Paige on last week's SmackDown say, oh, well, the Iconics, okay, I see they're doing their thing, but I've got a tag team of my own that I'd like to introduce them in the WWE Universe to next week. You couldn't book this in a way where it goes down exactly how I said it, and you have Paige come out there just to remind everybody and the Iconics, you know, hey, congrats. Don't forget, I got some people that are very interested in meeting you girls tomorrow night on SmackDown. Where's the consistency there? So for me, stupid booking 101 right there. Anything else from Raw we need to get into tonight here? Let's see. Sami Zayn, that was a good spot on a Moment of Bliss segment. Trolled the hell out of the WWE Universe. Worked that Montreal crowd. He worked them good. He basically did them like Silent Jericho, except he was interactive. But when you really stop and think about how he kept playing them up, just the mind games, it was classic Silent Jericho. And I loved it. Sammy worked that crowd very well. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Elias had another acoustic set. Rey Mysterio interrupted him. Two of these guys brawled. Rey Mysterio ultimately got the one up over Elias. Lars Sullivan comes out though, takes it to the little man. I get people making the Gene Snitsky comparisons. I really do. Do I see the similarities? A little bit. I do see a little bit of the similarities. And I think what everybody is saying with regards to the whole Gene Snitsky, everybody, when you think Gene Snitsky, you're going with how he looked last. He had the same kind of beard. He had the same bald head. But his teeth were much yellower than Lars Sullivan, right? Little Colgate will knock that out. 3D white. It'll knock that out real good, no problem. But I mean, that's really where the comparisons end, I honestly feel. I think Lars Sullivan, and I've seen a big bulk of his work down in NXT, he has the capabilities of going past a Gene Snitsky. He has all the potential in the world to be that next, holy shit, look out, right? He can be right up there with a Mark Henry. I personally feel that's how confident I am in this young man. I tell you this, and I played Raw back from last week because a lot of people were talking about this. I didn't know that you had a lot of people that were chanting, "You can't wrestle," and all this other shit to Lars Sullivan. And it's kind of like, I'm sorry, but Lars Sullivan is this powerhouse juggernaut of a fucking beast. I'm gonna fucking take your head off! You know, I'm not exactly picturing Lars Sullivan coming out there. Oh, I'm gonna do 3 German suplexes, and then I'm gonna apply a half Boston Crab on you, and then after that, I'm gonna put you in a cross-face chicken wing, and I'll do a beautiful hurricanrana from the top ropes. And speaking of the top ropes, I'll just pull out this ladder and I'm going to do a 450 splash because I'm Lars Sullivan, bitch. Like seriously, like he's living up to what you would expect for a guy his size, his stature and all that to do. He's coming out there and he's a powerhouse. He's doing powerhouse moves. Like, it's so ridiculous. It really, really is. But I like how they've been continuing to book this man. I like that they aren't doing the Braun Strowman approach, which is feed him jobbers. That gets so fucking cliche. I like the fact that they've, so far, to recap, they gave him Kurt Angle. They gave him the Hardys. Now you're giving him Rey Mysterio. My God, like, this is great. Like, continue to feed him those guys. I'm just wondering, though, what's going to be his first official program? Is it possible you might have him go up against Finn Balor? I totally would be down with that if it was the case where you had him go up against Finn Balor. But I like what's going on with Lars. And again, I get why people are saying the whole, oh, he kind of looks like Gene Snitsky. You know, I get that, but he's so much more than that. If that's all that you see, then sadly, you're not really taking a step back and with a good, fresh set of eyes, really giving this guy an opportunity. Because sadly, when you say Gene Snitsky, you're already limiting how far you think this guy is going to be able to go. You're pretty much saying, he's going to punt a fucking baby into the crowd. Right? And no, like everything that I saw him do in NXT, just money. I smell nothing but money. Right? And I'm usually a pretty good judge when it comes to my wrestlers. Now, if you ask me straight up, you know, what's going on with this guy, he could follow along the likes of a Mark Henry. I don't think he could be a multi-time champion like a Dave Bautista. I'm not seeing that. I think it really just depends, quite honestly. But everything that I've seen of him down in NXT so far, I mean, as long as he can keep his nose clean, stay off of the goddamn forums, because Lord knows that's the last thing that he needs right now. Otherwise, that'll get his ass in trouble all over again. Then he'll do pretty good. But, you know, it's kind of one of those, just take a step back. Let's see what fucking happens. See, other than that, just trying to see if there's anything else we need to talk about on Raw tonight. Your main event match was AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. They teamed up, defeated the team of Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. God, who was the third guy that was in there? Somebody jog my memory. Was it Drew McIntyre? Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. I can't remember the third guy now. Can't remember the third guy. Who was the third guy in there? Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. I know Leo Rush was in there, but I can't remember who the third guy was. AJ Styles, you know, I said earlier, I'm happy that they did the move and they put him on Raw. But man, oh man, he's got to do something with that beard, man. He almost looked totally clean shaven, and I like bearded AJ Styles. I'm just now realizing that. I like full bearded AJ Styles. I like that nice, thick, grown-in beard. That looks really good on him. Honestly, I could do without the James Mitchell Corbin. I can't believe I forgot it was Corbin. Thank you, Cody. I need to see the full beard come back. I could maybe do without the James Mitchell beard, the way he trims it, and it's all thin on the sides and shit, and it's full like a, you know, I could do without that, make it just a nice full beard, but because he looks so funny, it really made his face look even more fuller, I think is where I'm getting at. I mean, to each its own. I mean, fuck, it's AJ Styles, but I don't know, usually more people are tripping over the hair rather than the beard. But I don't know, if that's his new look, that's going to take me a while to get used to, right? Because my God, for those of us hardcore AJ Styles fans, we've seen him with that whole look since right before he left Impact Wrestling, when he was going into this whole dark period, you know, what was going on with him and his career, you know, is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? You know, what's going on with AJ Styles? He's pretty much been pushing the facial hair and somewhat longer hair since that period of time, and he has not let it go. He has not let it go. So if this is a taste of things to come, I think it'll take all of us a while to get used to it. But yeah, overall tonight, I would say that Raw was, you know, it was a bit lackluster to a degree. About 7 matches if you were lucky tonight during the course of 3 hours. But I mean, just going back and looking at the roster one more time, I would say for me personally, the bright spots, Lacey Evans taking on Natty, that was actually a pretty good match. I wanted to see what she was about, because other than the Mae Young Classic and everything, I really didn't get a chance to, you know, really follow up with her afterwards. So just a little boop, 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 doop here and there. So it was nice really seeing how far along she's come. So I enjoyed seeing that. What else? What else was good tonight? Sami Zayn trolling the Montreal crowd. That was pretty good as well. Miz jumping Shane. That was good. That's another name I almost forgot. Miz got drafted to Raw. I can't believe none of you guys in the chat reminded me. Miz got drafted to Raw. Let's see. What else? All the matches tonight were so-so, right? I would say all the matches were so-so tonight. You didn't have that one match that was, hey, this was worth kind of going out of your way to check out. Even the Balor taking on Andrade, that was just a so-so matchup, honestly. Yeah, if I'm missing something else, let me know, guys. All right, so on that note, your next edition, we're going to be coming at you guys live. It is going to be Tuesday night after SmackDown goes off the air. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Sean, I feel your pain, my brother. I feel your pain. Seeing a private message in the chat here. Yes, so we're going to be coming at you guys live with a new RCWR show. We'll come on live after SmackDown goes off the air. That'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern, so do join us for that. I'll try to make that be a short show as much as possible because I hate competing with the NBA playoffs. I love this time of the year. I love watching my NBA playoffs. I think at this point, probably Inside the NBA is on right now. So get at me. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. Oh, hey. Can we do the polling real quick? We got a poll that's out. Go to youtube.com/RCWR show. Click on the communities tab. We do have a poll that's up asking you all, what did you all think about Raw for this week? We also got it up on Twitter and Facebook as well. Use keywords, the RCWR show. Let's look at the Twitter poll right now. Our Twitter poll, let's see, where are we right now with the Twitter poll? Still early via Facebook. I'm seeing 8 thumbs up, 5 thumbs down. For YouTube, what we got going on here on YouTube? Yeah, Paris, I agree. The shakeup was weak sauce. And yes, they'll need to switch Roman over. Yeah, Roman or Braun. They got to do something. YouTube, I see a tie at 11%. Skipping it this week, thumbs up. 33% staying in the middle. 44% of you are giving it a thumbs up. That ain't too shabby. And let's see what's going on with you guys on Twitter here. Twitter. Let's see. We got Twitter loading up right now. All right. Where are we here? Okay. Twitter, we've got 12% of you are skipping it this week. 16% of you are giving it a thumbs down. 31% of you are giving it a thumbs up. And 41% of you are staying in the middle. So, kind of interesting where we are right now. Very interesting. All right, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed on demand on the downloads. Hey, and if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you smash that like button. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Shout out to Double D. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to Cody. Who else we got in there? Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Lee McManus. Austie. Joker. Who else we got in there? Gears. How about Gears? Shout out to Gears. Gears said I wanted the Undisputed Era to debut at the end of the main event against Roman, Seth, AJ. Oh, well. I'm doing good, my brother. How you been? I hope everything's been good. Shout out to Mr. Mayhem as well. And everybody else is going to be checking this out on demand. Till next go around, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Very good night, good morning, good afternoon. Adios.